Yeah, hey everyone, how you going? Today I just thought I'd just put a little video together just based on my experience with the Prozac cross taper bridge. I'm coming up 2 years off antidepressants this late November, so as I heal more and more, I just have certain experiences, being on these drugs for 17 years and having a horrific time coming off them. Just being able to sit down and talk about my experiences and techniques and how I got off these drugs is, for me it's a very therapeutic experience. It's for me being able to express myself, sitting down in my own company, in my environment is very, very therapeutic, and as part of my recovery. So I'd just like to release my experience today and share it with you and talk a little bit about this bridging technique. So yeah, we all know psychiatry, the DSM model. We all know it's a guessing game, and the Prozac bridge is also a guessing game. Psychiatrists will put you on these drugs, on a cross taper switch or a bridge to Prozac, because Prozac has got one of the longest half-lives. Pretty much meaning the drug exits your body slower. So it's about 4 to 6 days, 50% release. And as we get to a month, looking at about 99% of the drug being out of the body. But, of course, this depends from person to person. How long have these people been taking Prozac for? From what age? What neurological adaptations are taking place in that person's brain coming off these drugs. These are things we've got to look at. But psychiatrists, the majority don't look at these things. So, there are a majority of adverse reactions, possibly life-threatening, things that can happen when we're switching from one drug to the other. In this case, for me, it was Effexa to Prozac. We're going to have to look at adverse reactions happening, serotonin syndrome, chemical toxicity, because we're having two drugs in the body and the brain at the same time if we're going to do a bridge. And it can be a very dangerous thing to do, because for myself, my central nervous system, for a lot of people that do the switch, our central nervous systems are accustomed to the one drug, and making that switch really should be your last resort if you're having very severe symptoms. You're destabilizing and having a horrific time getting off that one drug. Then it's something you should look at. So for me, being in my experience, I'd already been injured coming off the Effexa. I already had a neurological injury. I did a cold turkey, and I reinstated 37.5, and then I started to have a very horrible time getting off the drug. So that's when I went and saw the shrink, the psychiatrist, for a bit of help. And he recommended the Prozac bridge to me. So this guy's a medical professional. I thought I'd trust him and see how we went. So the Prozac bridge, what we're looking at doing is we're looking at dropping the current drug we're on slowly, and then introducing the Prozac at a lower level, and then slowly topping it up over time. So for me, I was on 37.5 of Effexa reinstated, and then switching over to 20 milligrams of the Prozac at a slow rate. You know, this for me was a very disastrous experience. I probably didn't do it, you know, in the best way I should have done. I didn't have a 24-hour phone call psychiatrist. I just had one randomly that I was seeing through the mental health unit there over here in Auckland, and yeah, it turned very sour for me. I became very impulsive. I became very aggressive, and yeah, screaming and all sorts of things. And my family noticed it straight away. My dad, my brother, and I had impulses to hurt my family members. And yeah, I also became the closest I've ever been to a suicide attempt through that Prozac bridge. I don't want to go into details, but I had it already set up to go, and my inner dialogue, my inner dialogue of what was happening, it set in, and I knew it was the chemical toxicity effects of the cross taper to Prozac, and I just walked away. I reinstated the 37.5 of Effexa, and then slowly stopped the Prozac, and probably within one or two weeks, I was back to baseline, being a miserable prick on Effexa. Not happy at all, but these serious impulsive thoughts and feelings had vanished straight away. So I can see a lot of these high school, a lot of these shootings and mass shootings. A lot of people are, coming off their drugs, or they're switching, and it's just absolutely fucking up your brain. And I can see how these incidents are happening. I think it's like 90%. I think currently about over 90% of these mass shootings, people are on these drugs or coming off them. So very scary to think about it, and this needs to change, and we need to do something about it. So I'm making these YouTube videos. But went and saw the psychiatrist, and he just apologized to me. He said sorry for what happened, and I was on Effexa, and I was alone. I knew from that point on that I was going to have to get off this drug by myself. Of course, I have support, people to talk to, but it was going to be up to me to taper off this drug alone, by myself, and it was my fight to lose. Either Effexa was going to take me out, or I was going to beat the bastard. I was going to beat the fucker. So it's a horrible situation to be in. But sitting here now, I'm nearly 2 years off this November, after 17 years on these drugs, I bet the fuckers, I bet the bastards. So I've been severely injured at a neurological level, but I'm here to tell my story and help others and support others. So, I shouldn't be sitting here as a patient telling you my experience and talking about these drugs and the possibilities of what can happen when you switch or lower a drug, but unfortunately, I am, because I know I probably know more than just the average psychiatrist out there or doctor. I know 99% more than they do. unfortunately. And this will change, and it is changing currently, but this is where we're currently at. So, you know, if you're looking to come off, if you're looking to do a Prozac bridge or a Prozac switch, if you can, find a deprescribing professional in your area. But if you don't have access to that, then, you know, surviving antidepressants, the Maudsley Deprescribing Guidelines by Dr. Mark Horowitz, the Taper Clinic by Joseph Wittduring, and he's got some great videos online. He hasn't had the experience, but he has a lot more knowledge than what's currently out there. So the Inner Compass Initiative, Laura Delanio, she's got some great video, some great information there for people as well on all these aspects. So this isn't medical advice. This is just my experience, and I'm just sharing it with you guys to just to let you know about the possible, you know, dangers about it. And if you were to attempt a Prozac bridge, depending on how long you'd been on the drug, and, you know, and all these sorts of things, I'd make sure you have a good support network around you, and yeah, just be careful, be wary of the possibilities of what can happen, and yeah, you know, at the end of the day, this drug, you know, although it's slower, it's the withdrawal symptoms are slower as it releases the body slower. It can also cause severe withdrawal symptoms and very debilitating side effects and whatnot. So it's not a cure, it's just a strategy that may help, but it's there. So I just thought I'd share that you, sorry guys, I thought I'd share that with you today, and that was my experience of the Prozac bridge from Effexa. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.